from 37 North Expeditions. Please welcome Danny Collins.
Hello. It's a perfect day to talk about the outdoors, right? Well, I'm Danny Collins, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the outdoor experience economy and why it's more important now than ever for us to be focused on ways to get outside and to do more often. So to start off, we're going to make everybody do something for me, okay? So raise your hand, and I'm going to go through a series of questions. It's not a choice. You guys everybody has to raise a hand. So raise your hand, and I'm going to go through a series of questions. And if this question or the answer pertains to you, keep your hand up. If it doesn't, lower it. It all makes sense in a bit, okay? So how many of you know this is a very easy one? Know you live or you currently are in the Ozarks? Again, keep your hand up. How many of you know that we have a national park, which is the Buffalo National River, less than 2 hours from here? So the Buffalo National River is actually a federally protected area. It's just about an hour and a half south of us, just in central Arkansas. Next is how many, again, keep your hands up if it pertains to you. How many of you have visited Ha-Ha-Tonka State Park? So Ha-Ha-Tonka is one of our closest Missouri state parks. It's just about an hour north of where we are right now. Okay, how many of you have actually visited the Buffalo National River area? Yeah, for any of you that have or have not, it's one of the best fall foliage viewing areas in our entire country, and that's not a lie. Next, how many of you have visited Hemden Hollow? Yeah, this is usually one. Hemden Hollow is actually the tallest waterfall between the Appalachians and the Rocky Mountains, which is quite an awesome statistic, yeah? That's about an hour and a half from here, by the way. That's my puppy on his first float trip ever, by the way, yeah. So how many of you have floated on the Buffalo National River? Yeah? So this is something that kind of proves something to us, right? If you look around, you'll see how many hands are up. And this is not a bad thing. This is just something that I want to bring attention to, that there's a ton of people, even in this room, some of the most active members of our community, that have not really seen all the Ozarks outdoor scene has to offer. So my story, or the story of 37 North Expeditions, really starts back in 2017. It started off to be one of the best years of my entire life. I had finally made the decision to make a career change that I really wanted to do for quite some time at this point. Before that, I was working in corporate architecture, actually out in New York City. I'd been there in Manhattan for about 4 years ever since graduating from Drury University. Everything was kind of falling, on the side also, when I was there, the Missouri guy in me decided that I needed to get out of the city more often. So I started adventure guiding on the side. I led everything from day trips to upstate New York to bigger adventures like Kilimanjaro summits there in Africa. Everything was falling in place when I decided to make the career change I talked about, and I took a job with National Geographic, actually, and I was the expedition manager at one of their unique lodges of the world down in South America. That's actually what this picture is. So everything was falling in place, and it was my then girlfriend, now wife, and I were really, really excited about life. We were kind of excited about the road ahead and loving where we were at. On April 15th of that same year, though, I got a phone call that would really change my life for forever. About a day after that call, I was flying back to Missouri, was in Mercy Hospital, sitting next to my dad as he came out of brain surgery and was formally diagnosed with terminal brain cancer at the pretty young age of 56. I knew then nothing would really be the same, and I knew that I definitely would not be returning to Ecuador. So when we moved back, by the way, my wife's here somewhere, and good time to pause and say all this is her. It's had nothing to do with these beautiful graphics that are behind me. She does pretty much everything you see about the company, so give her a high five if you see her. But when we moved back pretty much immediately, right? And when you get a diagnosis like that. And nature became our release. It really was our way to get away from, maybe escape the reality that we were really in. And we really were getting outside every single chance we could. We soon realized that there was a ton of other people that were in the same situation. Growing up, just like I proved here earlier in this room, growing up in the Ozarks their entire lives and never really seeing all it has to offer. This got us starting to think about some ideas to change that, ways to make it more simple and convenient to get outside and more often. One of the very first opportunities we noticed was the unexplored Ozarks. and how there's so much of it. It's just an extremely vast size. I had a map up here at one point, but it just was too cumbersome. But it's huge, take my word for it. And there's so many different ways to explore it, right? From hiking, from canoeing, paddling, horseback riding, and the seasons, right? There's so many different seasons, and it's different experience every season of the year. One of the biggest issues, though, is the fact that a lot of these places are not marked well, our map systems are lacking, so it can leave it really intimidating to go out and explore on your own. The second opportunity is what we noticed was a lack of alternative forms of healthy options in our community. Some people love to run, right? Some people love to bike. Some people frequent the gym. There's so many others in our community that are left without healthy options that fit their lifestyle. On the same note, we noticed the lack of alternative forms of socialization, right, in our community. So getting outside in the fresh air with other like-minded individuals, that's not just good physically, right? That's really, really healthy mentally, and that's important in today's society. The third opportunity we notice is a global trend into what we might call we do call the experience economy, right? And so that is the obvious thing that millennials and younger generations are caring more about experiences over goods. We're all about trying to create memories, and we're trying to, creating memories and seeing new places is one of the most important things in today's society. So the idea that all of these different opportunities arose, along with the idea that there's so many of us that haven't seen how beautiful our own backyard is what really was the beginning of us, Christine and I, dreaming up what would later become 37 North Expeditions.
I'm Danny Collins. I'm the founder of 37 North Expeditions, based here in Springfield, Missouri. 37 North Expeditions really is just to get people outside and exploring the Ozarks. Our goal is to make it very simple. We handle all the trip planning, all the logistics, even down to the transportation to and from. We usually do like some sort of hiking in the morning, usually a very beginner hike, one of the more iconic places in the area. And then we go and do something else in the afternoon, anywhere from our hike and hops, where we go do a really cool brewery tour, or things like hike and stand-up paddleboard, hike and yoga or meditation, or even things like hiking caving. We have trips to almost all the state parks in the area, both in Arkansas and Missouri. I grew up in Springfield, and there's places I'm still exploring. It's just an amazing, large, vast amount of open space. You can go east, and you can go over to like the Ozark Trail area, the Jacks Fork River. You can go south for a couple hours and be in the middle of the Buffalo National River, which is just absolutely incredible. We have different areas within an hour of Springfield. Yeah, it really is an amazing hub for outdoor destinations.
So 37 North Expeditions had its very first trip in April of 2018, and we've had a unique trip offering almost every single weekend since. From the very beginning, we created what we would call 3 umbrella goals that we use to plan any trip we do today, and they still hold true to everything we do today. The first is to make it simple and convenient to explore the Ozarks. So in that, we literally plan everything. We plan all the different itineraries, we plan the logistics, and we even handle the transportation. We pick you up at Farmers Park here in Springfield. Literally, all you have to do is show up. The second thing is conservation through education. This is really important to us. It's at the core of every one of our trips. Every trip is capped at 13 people, and we practice leave no trace ethics. We're firm believers that more people to fall in love with the outdoors, all that means is more people are going to protect our natural resources through their time and funding. And the third is more or less what I already hit on, the outdoors socially, right? When Christine and I moved back, we would have killed to have options to meet others that want to do the same things we wanted to do. So our trips are always aimed at being alternative forms of socialization outside just the nightlife and bar scene that's currently in Springfield. Really, we break our services into 3 different categories. So the first is our regular scheduled trips. These are different every single weekend. We have them 12 months a year, like we said. And right now we have trips that both leave from Springfield and Bentonville. Usually about 2 or 3 every weekend, so you can choose the right one that makes the most sense for you. The second is our private outings. Oh, and I forgot to mention, those are single ticket sales, right? So you come with one person, you come on your own, or you can come with a small group of friends or family. The second is private outings. These are completely customizable adventures, anything from days out of the office or a small group outing. But you literally tell us the day you want to do it, the activities you want to include, and we'll build the itinerary for you and go from there. And the third is adventure travel, right? And so those are our multi-day adventures, anything from a camping, a backpacking experience. We have some wild women that I'll talk about later, trips that we do, cabin stays. And then we also have what we call our true adventure travel, and some of you might have noticed that we're now going to do international trips, and we've announced our first one to places like Ecuador. Again, these are all still completely community-based, and the difference from other companies that offer stuff like this is that you're going to go with people in your community, and they're going to be able to come back and foster those relationships that hopefully are still in existence when you come back. So this is kind of some of our sample trips, simply to show the diversity of what we're trying to create here. Every trip is a combination of some sort. So morning, sorry, I'm handsy. Morning, we do some sort of outdoor activity. In the afternoon, usually some sort of socially engaging activity, right? So that's, sorry. And it's very seasonal, right? So the seasons are honestly one of our best assets, right? So in the summer, we do canoeing and kayaking and all that kind of stuff. In the fall foliage view hikes. In the spring, everybody knows it's an amazing place in the spring for water and waterfall type based hikes. And every trip is broken into what we'd call type of series, right? So again, we have our adventure series. We have wellness, which is yoga, meditation. We have Wild Women that I mentioned. That's our women's only series that are very popular. And things like photography and family-based trips, right? And so again, the simplicity and the convenience is not just in the trip itself, but it's in finding the trip that makes the most sense for you. Literally, on the website, everything you could want about it, you can reserve, pay for your trip right there online, right? On that same note, we have a 37 North formula for every trip. The Get Sweaty is simply your degree of difficulty that we're all common with. The Get Connected is how socially engaging the trip is aimed to be. And the Get Happy is up to date. They're all a 10 for Get Happy. So, and again, this is to really help you find out what you want to do and what trip makes the most sense for you, but really to feel confident knowing what you're getting yourself into, right? Because that's incredibly important for us. At first, it was just Christina and I. We really put on a lot of different hats, you might say, to get up to the point that we're at right now. This is a pretty new concept for our area especially, so there was a huge learning curve to figure out if this even made sense, right? First, it took about 6 months for us to just literally go on hikes. I know, hard job. Compile all the data, all the logistics, and really figure out the right things that made the sense to be combinations. Then we moved into creating a brand and a website and understanding, well, how in the world do we understand the finances of a company like this? And then we moved into leading the trips, right? So the first 6 months of operations, you came on a trip, you were with Christine or I. Now we sit here today, we have about 10 or so guides at any given point, and they're really, this is not just to say this, they're the biggest asset to our company, right? They're the face of our company. Every one of them are Wilderness First Aid certified, and then also, the concept here is that you go outside, it's not just in the diversity of, our trips are not just the diversity of the locations we go, but also the people that are leading these things. I always say that people come on the first trip because they're interested in the outdoor activity we do, right? But they come on the second and the third and the fourth, and we see this in reviews like this for the socially engaging activities that happen on our trips. So we have an insanely diverse range of clients. So whether you're a group of 20-year-olds that are looking to be outside together, or you're a solo traveler in your 60s, you're going to find a trip for you. It makes the sense, and it's going to leave you really refreshed and excited to have met others that share your passion for the outdoors. So I'm going to talk a little bit about where we're headed and why we think that this is going to help us create an even bigger impact in our community. I already talked a little bit about our private trips. We've done everything from social groups to, we've even done a bachelorette party adventure, right? But what we really want to focus on as we move forward is team building experiences. And so this can be anything from a completely customized day out of the office, but we're also about to roll out what we call a corporate membership. And so think of this very similar to your gym membership, right? It's very common for companies to subsidize, pay for, gym memberships for their employees in today's society. Well, in our minds, this is both physical and mental health, and so that's something that we're really going to focus on as we move forward. We truly understand that companies will start to see the benefits of their employees getting outside more often. We're also trying to increase the diversity of our trips, right? So right now we do a lot, and it looks like we do a lot, but if we can add other activities like biking and climbing and fishing, we can continue to create even more unique combinations of trips that all that'll do is allow us to reach even more people and the ultimate goal of getting more people outside. Sorry, I lost my train of mind. Actually, and on the same note, what we're also going to really focus on this coming year and years after is bringing groups that actually need a lot more help in exploring the outdoors, that have a disadvantage to explore the outdoors, such as disabled or handicapped groups. This past fall, we actually had a group of 15 youth that we took them stand-up paddleboarding, and they were visually impaired in some capacity, and it honestly was the best trip that we've had thus far. We're also going to try to continue to create some really awesome partnerships. Again, the idea here is to create the most wild imagination, most unique, craziest days outside, the craziest experiences you could ever imagine, right? These are some of our current partnerships that are so awesome. Like here, we actually do hikes with goats. Yes, they carry your stuff. That's amazing, right? We also do some stuff with some backcountry aviation down in Northwest Arkansas right now, and that is, the opportunities there are just endless, right? From exploring new isolated areas to being able to get so much further out into the same amount of time. And then we're also starting to work with groups to bring our events into the urban environment, right? We'll have a fire starting 101 and s'mores, or we'll have topographic map readings, and we'll do those in evenings with different groups in town. And lastly, what we're really trying to focus on is something that's incredibly important to me, is put the Ozarks on the map as a place for outdoor tourism. We have to, alongside our residents, we want to showcase to everybody that this is a place, and the Ozarks outdoor scene is not something that should be skipped. Currently, it's not really seen as a place to come for its outdoors, at least on a national scale, right? Northwest Arkansas, for anybody that's paying attention, really is starting to understand that, especially in the bike scene, and they're bringing attention to ours. But it's no joke. There's an insane amount of statistics of people driving right through Springfield to head to Bentonville. So our community especially, people coming from St. Louis and north, we're missing an opportunity to actually capitalize on those people that are coming to our area and to showcase and get more people to come to our area. So our last year and a half is something that we say is not something that our community just really wants, but it's something that our community would truly benefit from. Getting more people outside in the fresh air and is not just good for your health or for your physical health, but it's also great for your mental capacity, right? The Ozarks is a vast area for outdoor exploration that should be enjoyed by more of us. 37 North Expeditions has huge aspirations to continue to make it accessible to everyone, for all abilities and all age groups, as well as to continue to make more people fall in love with our great outdoors through fun, socially engaging, outdoor-focused experiences. It really, truly is more than just a day outside. That's it. Thank you.